Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and T-Roy is here. Well, thank you, T.
My pleasure.
What up, Easus? Shalom, Biggie.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
That shirt looks familiar. I can't.
Wore it yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why.
Didn't change.
We've got an article coming up later in the show, Easus, that addresses clothing. It's a big profile cover story piece in GQ on Larry David.
Oh, I hope. I kind of saw some of that. My guess is I would fall in. I'm getting more and more into not giving a fuck as far as like this thought of thinking out what I'm gonna wear. I just pop shit on and whatever.
As opposed to
look.
when you didn't do
No,
that?
I used to always have these weird things where I would think about it. I'd be like, oh, I want to wear my Simpsons shirt, or I would look at stuff like that. Like now I literally just.
Well, Larry...
I
Pick it back off the floor from yesterday.
No,
Put it back on.
I don't. This is rare that I actually gotten. This is rare that I would wear something 2 days in a row now. I switch them off now a lot.
Well, Larry's got a thought that you cannot wear the same pants 2 days in a row.
Oh.
At all. And I'm like, I've worn the same jeans for 900 days in a row.
Yeah, they're not truly broken in until like the
that's
third
shocking.
day, man. Yeah.
That shocks me from him.
That he would say that?
Yeah.
He picks
does he
out
mean
all
he's-
the clothes on the show.
Yeah.
Like, he approves them or personally picks out everything, like the brown, the tan jeans he wears, the tennis shoes, the hoodie, the T-shirt, whatever. And then he takes the entire wardrobe home and keeps it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a bad gig.
When you see him on the show or on the
Right.
streets, he's dressed exactly the same.
Good for him, man.
Yeah. It's a great fucking article. I'll read some of it to you. And
That's why I'm shocked. That's why I'm shocked. He just means the same ones.
I guess.
Okay,
It seemed like a
because
weird... I mean, he's a weird dude, but...
Yeah, but the guy seems like a guy he really seems like a guy who would just be like, fine, give me 7 pairs of jeans. I mean, maybe he's washing them once a week, but like he does not seem like a guy who's worried about like looking fashionable or whatever, like spending money on shit or taking time out of his day to decide these jeans or these jeans. Like,
Seems like the kind of guy that would find what he likes and get like 10
100
pairs of the same thing. So you can
exactly
not wear the same ones 2 days in a row, but they'd be the exact same
right,
ones. Right.
exactly.
So that's kind of what I did with like black T-shirts and white T-shirts. I found one that I liked, and it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have 15 of them.
Sure.
And then I don't have to do laundry for 3 weeks.
Not a bad idea.
So I kind of But Larry's so quirky. He can be tipped off to something by like the weirdest, smallest thing. I mean, that's what makes this show so great.
Right.
So I don't know. I'll read some of it to you guys a little bit later. Boy, oh boy, the country in meltdown mode again with this. World War III?
Yeah, are we coming?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have World War III with Iran? No, we're not gonna have World War III with Iran. The president gave a speech today, and he can't win. No matter what. It's, you a fucking retard can read a teleprompter. Yeah, and so it's more measured, more calm, but very, very clear that the administration in office now is not the Obama administration. And when I draw a line in the sand, I mean it.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, I mean it. And he's like, so don't think for a second you're going to get out of line and do anything else. If there's one hair hurt on the head of an American, it will be an ass whooping of epic, and you're just like, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. So he also he didn't name Obama, but he blasted him for, that Iran, nuclear deal where they sent over just pallets of billions of dollars released to them. I mean, I think it was their money, but it was on hold, and released that to him, and then $150 billion in frozen assets, and then released that $1.5 billion. It was flown over there in different currencies, different world currency. It was just a weird thing. But he said, they used that money to purchase a torrent of weapons used against Americans and blah, blah, blah. He began his speech to the world. As long as I am president, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. He backed that up with a threat. Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast.
You won't even see them coming.
Yep. Under construction are many hypersonic missiles. We have hypersonic missiles now. Minutes later, he offered an olive branch, urging European nations to make a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place, allows Iran to explore its untapped potential. I don't see that happening, and could be a mainstream trading partner. He really called out the EU, United Nations. He was talking to Germany, France, Great Britain, Russia, China, saying, get your shit together with Iran, hold them accountable, because the fact is, we are self-reliant with oil. We don't need them. We have the most oil reserves in the world in America. more than anybody.
Still nice to
We don't
have
need,
it.
but we're off the reliance of Middle East oil. So it's like, hey guys, we don't need to be over there anymore at all.
That's your oil. You deal with it.
If they jack up the price of oil, it affects us zero. It fucks you, China and Russia. So you hold them accountable. We're going to put sanctions on them that are going to be strong, and it's crippling this nation. Yeah. And by taking out, I guess Trump had a decision to make. They were like, okay, here's the options. Because what happened, this started because there was a U.S. Contract worker, kind of like someone like you when you were over there, right? That you were a contract worker.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they killed T,
Thank God.
and so this fucking asshole is, calling shots, and they end up killing an American contract worker a month ago, something like that, a few weeks ago, whatever it was. And Trump's like, nope, I drew a red line in the sand, and I'm unlike Obama. I meant it when I said, you fuck with our guys, and it's coming. And so he didn't just wake up one morning and decide to kick this guy's ass. And so they were like, yeah, this dude, or we could do this, or we could do that. And he's like, that dude. And it's the number 2 most powerful dude in Iran. He's the guy that oversees their entire military operations, knows the game plan, knows the landscape, knows everything. He's the one that orders the weapons, helps, oversees design processes, because they came out, had developed this armor-piercing thing that was going right through the Humvees. There was one of our guys, the guy that stands on top of the truck, and half his body is out of it. Cut him in half.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
these things. Yeah. So there was another guy beheaded, straight off with his head. These weapons that they were using, and so taking him out, and the number 3 is already dead, and so now you've got this 83-year-old fucking Khomeini, whatever, Ayatollah with cancer, dying of cancer. And they're like, oh, shit, what do we do now? Our guy that runs everything is gone. So, yeah. He says he blasted the destructive, destabilizing behavior, said the days of Western patience are over. He boasts that his low approval ratings in foreign countries are an indication that he is focused on America's welfare, not the priorities of real and nominal allies. That approach could be tested as Iran and the U.S. creep towards what some see as this inevitable war. This doesn't have to end badly, and frankly, right now we might be in the best position ever for diplomacy with them. He said this was the world's top terrorist, personally responsible for some of the absolute worst atrocities. He should have been terminated a long time ago. Blah blah blah. He goes on, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fired on the Al-Assad base.
Yeah,
and.
0 casualties.
Yeah, 0.
That's pretty good.
No, but if you watch Iranian state TV, I think they killed 80 U.S.
Oh, really?
U.S.
Is that what they're
service
saying?
Terrorists.
Really?
Yeah, were apparently terrorists.
Ah.
Yeah, and injured many, many more. So that's the reports that the Iranians are getting, is that 80, plus.
Weird.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
You gotta keep those Death to America people happy. Keep those chants going in the streets.
Yeah. So Khomeini or whatever, Ayatollah Khomeini, speaking on Iranian TV shortly after the launch, said that this is not sufficient for revenge, vowing further action to kick U.S. troops out of the region. But then their foreign minister, Mohammad Zarif, said the attack is now concluded, and he praised their Iran's proportionate response. We do not seek to escalation or war. In other words, yeah, this dude's different than the other people we've dealt with in the past. He might actually kick the shit out of us. So let's not push it. We sent those missiles there. We're going to brag to our audience, that we kicked ass, we won.
Yeah, it was just a show. From
Yeah.
everything you see, they didn't go full scale. From everything I heard, they sent a heads up out.
Right, I was going to say, they said ahead of time it was coming, basically.
I mean, Al-Assad's a huge base, and it's pretty spread out, but
Yeah.
if it's populated to, I don't know how many did they say actually landed, like 6 or something?
Of the bombs?
Yeah.
Well-
I know some didn't make it, some whatever. I think only like 6, I don't remember the number for sure, that
Yeah.
detonated, but
So Iranian television is saying that, tried to claim that 80 American terrorists were killed. Images showed several missiles had either failed to explode on impact or else missed the targets. The remains of one was found 70 miles from the base.
I don't even think they were even trying, to be honest with you.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Said in an attempt to talk up the impact, their president, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, said, this shows we do not retreat in the face of America. If America has committed a crime, it should know it will receive a decisive response. If they are wise, they won't take any other action at this juncture. Like you guys were talking about, Iran gave advance warning to Iraq, saying, "Hey, this is coming." Warning them of the strikes that we're going to send it over to this base, not one of the populated ones, or
They had to make it look good.
yeah.
They had to do something, but if they went full out and actually killed anybody or attacked something important, we'd still be bombing them right now. We would be lighting that country up, probably.
Iraq, Finland, and Lithuania all said they were informed in advance. America said that early warning systems detected the missile launches. Sirens were sounded, allowing all the soldiers to just walk away, basically. Analysis suggested Iran may have deliberately pulled its punches because they're fearful of the disproportionate response threatened by Trump if U.S. personnel were killed. So they, it's pretty funny. They did do it at the exact same time, though, that their guy was bombed, 1:20 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Significant.
Yeah.
Well, it's like killing that guy. It was like a little thwap on the forehead, like, all right, simmer down. And they came back with a little slap in the face with some bombs, but they know if they would have done anything more than that, it would have been an all-out ass-kicking.
I was reading Piers Morgan. I love reading Piers Morgan whenever it's about this shit, because he loves going after the liberals and the Hollywood elites, hypocrites who are going to rage about this shit. But he thinks that they really didn't believe that an American president would do anything like that. And then they're like, their dude gets bombed to shit, and they're like, hey,
wait a minute.
What'd you do that for? Why'd you kill that guy? That's our number 2 guy. And so they didn't believe it would happen. He says, so anyway, I read some of Piers' thing. I'll share it with you.
Go back to that real quick. Like, everything can become your normal, and when you grow up in a situation, I get it. Like, the civilians there, I don't even question them. I get that. You just as a kid, and this is what you're told. But when you're, like, in the official situation and you're going on TV, you know that people weren't killed. It must be, like, what is going on in your head? Like, I just don't understand that. Like, you go through your day-to-day, and then you get on this thing, and you're like, yep, we killed 88 people and 20 more injured.
Total propaganda machine.
It's just so weird to me. Like, as a
but
human being,
it serves a purpose. If you have to have them under your thumb. And in Iran, you're talking about 50% unemployment. You're talking about like taxes in the 70 to 80% range. There's before this happened, there were riots going on and protesters standing up to the regime. This regime is on shaky ground. And with these sanctions, they're getting crushed.
Yeah,
these sanctions where it's like, oh, okay, you want to trade with Iran? Then we don't trade with you, motherfuckers. And then it's like, okay, yep, we'd rather trade with the United States than with Iran. And so they're just getting slaughtered. And so you've got an aging leader with cancer who's lost his generals and wants to maintain power.
I understand it. I'm just more saying, like, from a human perspective,
people.
How weird that must be
to go up and just
know
total bullshit.
That you're just saying stuff. Like, I just mean more on that perspective of it, not even like, just a human perspective. It still seems like it would be weird. Like, you would still realize you're lying. I mean, and to keep your shit or not, I get
probably
it.
that or die.
Right, probably.
Talking about Piers, because I'll be honest, it's not like I'm an expert in any way on Iran's security measures and military and leadership. So, we're all kind of researching this. Like last night, this attack had just happened. We didn't know anything.
No, just they were bombing the base just as we came out. So.
Yeah, and we didn't know
conjecture.
What had happened, if anyone was hurt, if anyone was there, what this meant. And it turns out nobody was hurt, nobody was killed. Most of the bombs either didn't detonate or landed way away. And probably because Iran does have they could easily target pinpoint accurate with some of their missiles. So it looks like, it was just a show. We can now put some images on TV for propaganda purposes for our people and go, yes, we killed 80 American terrorists. Oh, it's a great day for Iran. And save face. They want to just save face.
Yeah, to save face with their own people, to show that they did something, but without actually doing something to get their ass kicked for it.
The Persians are a very, very proud people. They do not want to look like, they don't, their memories go back to the beginning of time. They don't forget, and they don't like looking like they were defeated by,
anyone
ever.
Yeah.
Even if they were. So Piers says, let's be very clear. Soleimani was the world's most dangerous terrorist. No ifs, no buts about it. Iran's second most powerful man was the leader of the Quds Force, Iran's brutally despotic Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He presided over 2 decades of despicable terror acts committed by proxy terrorists right across the Middle East, from Iraq to Yemen and Syria to Lebanon. He was no different in ideological thinking from Osama bin Laden, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, ISIS's leader. Like them, his life was devoted to killing people via terrorism, and like them, he was killed by U.S. forces. Yet, unlike bin Laden and Baghdadi, Soleimani's death has been met with howls of protest from the world's liberals. Within minutes of it being confirmed, out sprang the usual suspect, mouth-foaming, Trump-loathing celebrities. Rose McGowan.
Oh, boy.
Rose McGowan posted this tweet. Dear Iran, the USA has disrespected your country, your flag, your people. 52% of us humbly apologize. We want peace with your nation. We are being held hostage by a terrorist regime. We do not know how to escape. Please do not kill us.
You should see what a terrorist. I want to go see what a terrorist regime is,
Yeah.
man. Why don't you just go over and visit and see how those people are doing?
When this bizarre mea culpa prompted understandable outrage, people just pounded this tweet from her. She retorted, of course Soleimani was an evil man who did evil things, but at that moment, it's not the fucking point.
Kind of is the point.
Talking about at what moment?
She later backtracked a little bit.
Yeah, of her emotional bullshit reaction
Yeah.
of fuck Trump and anything he does. That's what it was.
She backtracks a little bit later. She comes back. Okay, so I freaked out because we may have impending war. I did not want any more American soldiers killed. That's it. So the best way to prevent more American soldiers being killed is to keep alive the man who has been killing so many of them for 20 years. Ms. McGowan wasn't the only one. Colin Kaepernick jumped into the mix.
Oh, good.
Colin
Of course, yeah.
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, well, everything's racist. So Trump is just racist for this. There's nothing new about American terrorist attacks on black and brown people for the expansion of American imperialism.
Oh, boy.
What? What?
I'd like to, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'd like to have him explain what American imperialism means to him.
Yeah.
I want
Do a book report?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, that'd be a good talk.
I'm not saying I can
Pierce-
answer it, but I didn't claim I could.
Pierce says Kaepernick either doesn't know or chose to ignore that for many years Iran has been committing terror attacks on black and brown people for the expansion of its own imperialist agenda in the Middle East. Many other stars, John Legend, John Cusack, Alyssa Milano also felt compelled to tell the world how disgusting it was that Soleimani had been killed, as Twitter went into meltdown mode about the inevitable World War III that's coming that would now apparently result from Trump's idiocy. Spoiler alert, it won't. Of course it won't. No. Democrat presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren, her initial response, right? So, your politicians up there, and, they're leaders, pillars of the community.
By the way, is she going to bring those impeachment papers over to the
Well, Elizabeth
Senate, or-
Warren won't, but
Or no,
that's
no,
Pelosi.
sorry,
That's
my
Pelosi.
bad.
But I'd like to know what Pocahontas is.
when are those
I wouldn't mind
coming
someone
over?
asking her a little bit more about, her being the first person of color to be on the law board at Harvard or Yale, wherever it was.
Yeah.
First person of color, Elizabeth Warren.
It's impressive.
So her initial response to the news was this: Soleimani was a murderer responsible for the deaths of thousands, including hundreds of Americans. A day later, she had to rethink that the bad guy was President Trump, who assassinated a senior foreign military official. It's no coincidence that her dramatic change in tone came 24 hours after all the rage from the fellow liberals, horrified that she had told the truth about this murderous
Did you say
record
what
of
she
this
said
guy.
the first time again?
She praised it. But he was
so-
a dick and deserved to die.
Okay.
Soleimani was a murderer responsible for the deaths of thousands, including hundreds of Americans.
So she said that.
She said that,
And
and then
then-
Twitter was
Oh,
like,
shit, that's not
oh
the
my
right
God,
thing."
that's not the stance we have.
Oops.
Trump's a monster. He's killing people. So,
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
That's so fucking hilarious.
so let me get this straight. Soleimani was a mass murdering terrorist responsible for killing thousands, including hundreds of Americans, but should be left alone because it might escalate the situation with Iran. I don't remember the risk of escalating conflict being an issue with the bin Laden killing or al-Baghdadi. When Obama ordered the execution of bin Laden, liberals cheered him around the world. Trump derangement syndrome dictates that there must be a very different response when the current president kills a terror leader. And now we see it again with the staggeringly two-faced liberal response to this guy's death. For the perfect illustration of this, take two tweets from Democratic Senator Chris Murphy. The first came December 31st when the protesters stormed the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. The attack on our embassy is horrifying but predictable. He wrote, Trump has rendered America impotent in the Middle East. No one fears us. No one listens to us. America has been reduced to huddling in safe rooms, hoping the bad guys will go away. What a disgrace.
Here we go.
Yeah, so you would think Murphy was thrilled to hear that a bad guy had been taken out, right? Nah, nope. Soleimani was an enemy of the United States. That's not in question. The question is this. Did America just assassinate without congressional authorization the second most powerful person in Iran, knowingly setting off a potential massive regional war? There's no doubt, according to peers, that, yeah, there will be repercussions by Iran. Last night's missile strikes certainly won't be the end of their response to their martyr's death. This doesn't make the decision to kill him wrong. Trump didn't just wake up one day and decide to take him out. There have been a series of recent Iran-inspired rocket attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq, culminating in one a few days earlier that killed an American contractor and injured U.S. and Iraqi soldiers. He responded by ordering U.S. strikes on Kataib Hezbollah, the Iran proxy militia that carried out the rocket attacks. This prompted the group's furious supporters to break into the U.S. embassy in Baghdad and set fire to the reception area. For Trump and his advisors, this was very reminiscent of Benghazi, right? And Trump, which got in Libya in 2012, Christopher Stevens was killed, the U.S. ambassador. And the president has pounded on Obama and Hillary Clinton for their lack of response to that. Trump knows this, and he knows, I cannot sit back and let this go on. So he said, it's not an option. I can't hammer these guys for their lack of response. Iran will be held fully responsible for lives lost or damage incurred at any of our facilities, to which the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, responded on Twitter by taunting back at the president, you can't do anything.
Really?
Interesting.
Wait,
Yeah.
so the Ayatollah did that?
Yeah.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
He's a Twitter account?
Yeah, he's on Twitter. He's got to be verified, right?
Can you pull that up?
I
I would love to see what his Ayatollah Khomeini.
The 80-year-old or the other
It's
one?
probably not written in English. You probably couldn't understand shit.
I want to see his squiggles.
It's written in whatever that.
Durka.
At the same time, the U.S. reportedly received credible intel that Soleimani was actively plotting to kill more American military and diplomatic personnel in the Middle East. This represented a direct and immediate challenge to the security of the U.S., but one that Iran arrogantly presumed America would do nothing about. They were wrong.
Yeah.
Trump considered various options presented to him and chose killing of Soleimani to send Iran a firm message that, yes, actually the United States could and would do something to defend itself. As to his motivation, it had nothing to do with racism, as Colin Kaepernick ludicrously suggested, nor was it designed to create a distraction from Trump's impeachment stuff, which is actually probably helping him more than anything the polls are showing.
Yeah, I told you. Nobody ever gets...
And there he is.
Everybody gets reelected when there's a war.
What does he say? Oh, man. It's a nice headshot, you know?
Yeah.
Go down, dude. What is
Speaking
that?
of
What is
headshots.
his pinned tweet? What? The lying, rambling U.S. government, whose words are worthless, tried to introduce this great mujahid and commander in the fight against terrorism as a terrorist. The Iranian nation slapped them in the face with their turnout in the millions for the funeral. Yeah, ones that they had to show up for. Oh, that's so funny. I'll leave you with this as far as peers. And he says, I share the view of retired former General David Petraeus, one of America's finest military minds, who said Soleimani's death was bigger than bin Laden, bigger than Baghdadi, and a very significant effort to reestablish deterrence. Soleimani was the architect and operational commander of the Iranian effort to solidify the so-called Shia Crescent stretching from Iran to Iraq through Syria into southern Lebanon. He's responsible for providing explosive and arms and other munitions that killed well over 600 American soldiers and many more of our coalition partners. So his death is of enormous significance. In other words, Trump called Iran's menacing, threatening, cocky, murderous bluff to put them back in their box. He gave them the slap in the face they deserved, and deserves praise, not hypocritical liberal outrage for taking such bold action. So, yeah. I don't know.
I can't believe Rose said that they're being held hostage. It's quite an analogy.
It is, really. You know, yeah, that kind of went by me, T, but that's true. I mean, she can get on a plane and go anywhere she wants, right?
That's true, yeah. No, you have free reign. You can go anywhere you like, do anything you want. And you know what else you can do? Vote.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think getting fucked by Harvey Weinstein really
Scrambled
her
her
up.
regs a little bit.
Wasn't she one of the ones early on that was like claims that Harvey raped the shit out of her or something when she was younger?
Yeah. But
So that's I don't know. I'm just trying to give her an excuse for her retarded political views
Well,
that she won't shut up about.
who's to say if that didn't happen, we'd even know who Rose McGowan was. So careful what you wish for.
What was she in?
Harvey? Oh, no. I don't know.
Right?
couldn't tell you right
I
off
mean,
the
I
top
know
of my
the
head.
name, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Whatever.
You looking it up, E?
Sure, I guess. I've never
She's
even
one
heard
of
I
those-
actually have not ever heard of the name personally.
Really?
I guess we talked about it on the show because of,
Oh yeah, she's part of the
She's
beginning of the
been
Me Too
in
movement.
stuff, but I couldn't specifically tell you any one of them. Yeah, there you go. See a lot of.
Was she in Grindhouse? Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess Charmed was pretty big.
Scream, Charmed. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
those are-
yeah, Charm. That's the one that I would remember her most from, I guess. But
See, I
Even
would've
that,
said
only 5. I mean,
Scream.
5 seasons. I mean, I guess it's something.
whatever.
Did you see?
I don't give a fuck what they have to say. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Harvey Weinstein accusers. Yeah. Yeah, she's part of the Harvey thing. So
Get your award. Thank your God. And fuck off.
fuck off. The Queen. Don't really like talking about the royals. You know, the blue bloods.
You do it a lot for not wanting to talk about them.
Do I? I don't think I do. Unless I'm mad at like I like can't stand them. But I can't fast forward through stories fast enough when it involves like any of the
Most of it.
the royals. But today I feel like it's our duty. We have to because the Queen is very, very disappointed. Harry and Meghan are like, yeah, we don't want to be royals anymore. We want to fucking bow out. They want to quit as senior royals.
Really?
Yeah, they
You
didn't
do that?
You can, and I had no idea what it means and the protocol and all this kind of stuff. There's various levels. Like you have to marry into the royal chain. You know, it's just incestuous bullshit. So people have quit. Like one dude, you know, Prince whatever the 8th or something, bailed. Was like, yeah, I love this chick from America, so fuck it, here, have my shit, and I'm gonna marry the chick I love, and you know,
nice.
so stuff like that. So anyway. They didn't even tell Her Majesty before they announced it on Instagram.
Ew.
Their departure, you know, from this. They made their announcement official following speculation about a move. After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure, that's what Megan signed up for when she married in.
Yeah. I think they'll be okay, and you'll get to learn here why I think that. The idea.
Some nice golden parachute stuff here.
Well, I mean, so they want to continue to fully support Her Majesty, the Queen. It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years, that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. We now plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America, probably talking mostly about Canada, although she's from California, so, you know, bouncing around there. Continue to honor our duty to the Queen, the Commonwealth, and our patronages. This geographic balance will enable us to raise our son, who they didn't want having a royal title.
Oh,
They didn't let their kid have a royal title. It'll provide our family the space to focus on the next chapter, including the launch of our new charitable entity. Oh, God. A charitable entity. Of
course.
Yeah. It's going to roam around the world just doing God's work.
Raising money. That's what
Yep.
we're going to do.
Can these people ever can ever be just like, you know what? I'm going into the medical field. I'm going to be a doctor. No. You just got to fly somewhere, photo op with everybody, you know, show you with some fucking brat with flies
that
buzzing
what
around
they're
its
doing?
face and just filling buckets of water for them.
Isn't that what they kind of do now? I don't understand.
Yeah, they do.
Like, they don't have a job now.
No.
So,
Well,
Nor will
you-
they ever, I'm
Right.
sure.
You guys will love this if this gives you any idea. Okay, hold on. Before I get to that, we look forward to sharing the full details in due course as we continue to collaborate with Her Majesty the Queen, the Prince of Wales, and the Duke of Cambridge, and all relevant parties. Piers Morgan, I guess Meghan Markle ghosted him at something, and he fucking hates her for it, and so he shits on her all the time. Like, she doesn't get along with her dad. He wasn't invited to the wedding, and her dad's just an idiot, loudmouth. He's constantly on TV, like, I wanted to be at the wedding, but they don't let me. They just fucking ignore this fucking. It's like Hillary Rodham's brother, fucking idiot, drunk driving, thrown in jail all the time and shit. It's like, Bill, can we fucking
Shut them down.
Can we get this guy out of fucking jail again? There's always a black sheep in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So Piers goes on and slams her for splitting up the royal family. People say I'm too critical of Meghan Markle, but she ditched her family, ditched her dad, ditched most of her old friends, split Harry from William, and has now split him from the royal family. I rest my case. So here, if this tells you anything, I found this hilarious. Harry and Meghan have only recently returned from their 6-week break spent in the Canadian province of British Columbia with their 8-month-old son, Archie. So they get back. They go there for 6 weeks for Christmas on the gorgeous island, this fucking
Right.
$10 million mansion with, you know, all the fixings and trimmings. And so their first royal engagement of the new decade. So they've got, you know, here's your first new royal engagement.
Back to work.
Okay, we're back from 6 weeks of vacation. What's on the docket for our first royal engagement? They were to visit Canada's High Commission in central London to thank Canadians in person for the warmth of the welcome they received.
Oh. We're going to need another vacation after that.
They went on vacation for 6 weeks in Canada, and then their first royal engagement is to go to this place in London and personally thank Canadians for how nice they were to them when they were in Canada.
Just that big handshake line. Thank
Holy
you. Thank you very
shit.
much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You guys were great. Hey, you were great. Great, eh?
Yeah, no problem, eh?
So yeah, any move to Canada, even for a period of a year, would throw up important questions about their long-term future within the royal family. The cost of security for the couple would also be an issue. And as Canada is a realm, a country where the Queen is head of state, it then would have to pay for keeping the couple and their son Archie safe. So it would fall on the Canadian government to then do it, keep them safe. Harry and Meghan, so how much is it likely to cost? They don't know, but Harry and Meghan would naturally be drawn to Toronto. It's the city they had their secret courtship. She was filming something over there, and he would fly in and
You think
hang
of a
out.
safer place in the world than Canada? Sweden, maybe?
Sweden,
Yeah.
yeah.
Something
Well,
like that.
Isn't Sweden?
No, Sweden's good.
Didn't they open their doors to like? Oh,
I don't
heading
think
to some-
so.
No,
I don't think Sweden's very
Switzerland? How about Switzerland?
maybe.
That's probably very, very safe. Very.
Yeah, white.
But Canada's.
I see what you're saying. I'm reading between the lines.
oh,
We're
see.
talking about Switzerland and Sweden. Can
I'm
you get
just
any whiter than those places?
They-
Antarctic's not as
Canada.
white as. Yeah,
Even the
Canada's pretty
bears are white up there.
Yeah. No, that's not true, E. Justin Trudeau's in blackface all the time.
good. Right.
You know? It's not the whitest. I mean, shit, they're leaders in blackface all the time. So, the couple recently spent more than $2.5 million pounds, which would be like $3 million or $4 million, something like that. Can't remember the conversion. The couple spent that of taxpayers' money. So they, when I said they spent, I didn't mean they spent
Right.
their own money. They spent taxpayers' money refurbishing their Frogmore cottage home and buying a property of similar standard in a Canadian city would cost significantly more. The Frogmore house was a gift from the Queen, by the way. But any
Fix that up before she gave it to him, I guess.
Right.
yeah, but no, they were just like, fuck it, we got the taxpayers will do
But
it.
isn't all that taxpayer money? I mean, it's the
Right.
Queen, it's the royal family. It's like our government.
Yeah.
So the taxes just it's all their money. It's not like they have a job. It's not like the Queen's out fucking
Right.
scrambling eggs at IHOP for income.
Can you imagine? Yeah, I've taken a second job now. I'm doing an overnight shift, you know, to pay for all this stuff. Harry and Meghan and Archie are understood to have 6 permanent Metropolitan Police Guards funded by the taxpayer. The officers are estimated to earn more than $100,000 a year, including overtime. When Harry was visiting Meghan in the early stages of their relationship, the security officers seen with them outside her apartment, though, were thought to be Canadian, therefore funded by Canadian taxpayers. Whoever pays would require police protection for the rest of their lives. The Sussexes is what their title. They require 24-hour guarding for the rest of their lives. It's like a president,
Like an ex-president, right?
Yeah, for the rest of their lives. A move abroad would be a huge undertaking, and the security costs would be vast. How would Duke and Duchess survive financially? And will Harry be able to keep his allowances if they leave the country, but it remains part of the royal family? It's unlikely the Queen or his father, Prince Charles, would cut off Harry and his wife if they chose to move abroad. Her Majesty pays Harry and William jointly $5 million from the $82 million annual sovereign grant, which is funded by the taxpayer. So that's
Right.
just every year.
Right.
You
It's
know,
all,
here you go.
it's all their money. That's how it works.
The brothers also claim a further $3.16 million a year in non-official expenditure. So non-official expenditure means shit that's not part of your duties as a royal.
Just stuff you want to do.
Yeah. So another source of income for Prince Harry is his annual allowance from the profits generated from his father's $1.2 billion Duchy of Cornwall estate. Charles paid almost $5 million to his sons from that pot last year. They employ a private secretary. She can earn up to $146,000 a year. A nanny for Archer. Commands 6-figure salary, too. At Frogmore Cottage, they have a housekeeper, 2 personal assistants, and 2 palace orderlies. The couple have significant personal wealth they could live on. Harry's net worth is about $30 million. He inherited more than $20 million from his late mother, Diana.
Oh, yeah.
Around $7 million from his great grandmother, the Queen Mother. So these ideas, like, how would they survive financially? Oh, I don't know.
He'd blow through 30 million in like 2 years.
Yeah, based on
Do you
how
really
they're
think they're
living.
not going to get
Yeah,
their
right.
allowances and shit?
Well, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, and even if they did, you think they can't call up Daddy? Like, Dad, it stinks.
Thought I was going to be my own person.
Yeah, I wanted to be a big boy. I wanted to be a man by myself, and I can't do
Camilla,
it.
put him on the phone, please.
It's just
I know
shitty
he's
son
there.
again. He wants more money. I just know it. Tell him to pound sand, Charles. Grow a pair. Remember when I said I wished I was your tampon?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was
Charles.
his sex talk, dude. How fucking dope is
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Remember that, E?
Yes, I do.
What did he
Get up in there.
They had phone calls of that. He was talking
I
to him.
guess, yeah.
He said, "Oh, I wish I was your tampon."
Yeah,
It's like, dude,
that's so-
panties. Just be her panties.
Yeah.
Her fucking tampon.
You got to get up in
Things
there, man.
escalate. Who knows?
Her
I mean,
dildo.
maybe he's already said all those things and he needed something new. He needed
Something new.
Gotta
That's
freshen things
deviant
up.
shit, man.
Yeah.
I want to be bled all over by you.
gotta keep things
Everybody's got their
fresh.
thing.
Yeah.
What if they quit as Royals completely? Overnight, they would lose access to the $8 million given to him and William each year. Their $1 million staffing bill would also be on them. They would they'd get $1 million to staff. They would also they get to keep their Frogmore Cottage because obviously it was a gift from the Queen.
Sure. Can't
she
take
doesn't
that
want to
back.
be reneging on that.
No,
you know,
no.
you don't want to be known as a renegger on a gift.
No,
you know?
definitely not.
So they would be expected to pay, however, for future renovations and some of its upkeep.
Sounds like it's a dump. What did he say? Like $2.5 million dump into that, put into that thing?
Yeah, but they did that before they made this announcement. So.
Oh, it's already in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. They've redone it.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was smart. That was smart. Get that out of the way
Yes.
first.
Let the taxpayers cover that shit. Fix this shithole up, and then
Yeah.
we'll bail.
Even with that, I bet they don't fucking leave. I think I'd have made too good
I know.
to even fuck around.
They would keep the royal protection officers to protect them 24/7. If Harry did give up his title, it would have an impact on the line of succession. Currently, it stands as Prince Charles.
Isn't he like 17th in line or something weird like that?
Yeah.
How do you?
It's fucking weird, dude. Like Prince Harry's or Prince William's daughter is ahead of Prince Harry. It goes Prince Charles, and he's just dying for this bird to kick the fucking bucket. Is she
won't.
ever
She's
gonna
gonna
fucking
stay alive
die?
just out of spite?
He's like, shit, she's gonna outlive me. I'm never gonna get the throne. Christ. Prince Charles, Prince William, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis,
who?
then Prince Harry, followed by Archie Mountbatten Windsor, and then Prince Andrew. I don't think we could have
I
Prince,
don't, I don't
Prince
think
Andrew's
that's gonna work out.
Yeah, no.
Probably good for him, dude, in reality. I mean, I think it'd be better not to be down that list. No one
I'd
knows
like to
who those
know.
people are.
I'd
and
like
he's
to
got
know
a pretty
some
okay life.
ages of everybody on that list. You got ages for everybody?
Prince George is probably 5.
Yes.
And Charlotte's born after him.
Oh, those are the
Those
other
are the
kids.
two kids.
Those are the other kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Prince Louis, I don't even know who the fuck Prince Louis is.
No.
Exactly. That's awesome for him. Good for him.
Yeah. And then Prince Andrew. God,
It's like the guy
I want
in the
people,
band.
I probably shouldn't say that on the mic, but it's like, God, I'd love to see some crazy way to get Andrew up the, and all of a sudden
All of a
he's
sudden,
top of the
he's the
chain.
guy.
It's like
King of England.
King of England, who's been on the Lolita Express, hanging out at Pedophile
My
Island. with-
first order of business, I lower the age of consent to 8.
I'm reopening Pedophile Island immediately, and we're getting the jet back in order. Oh, dude, hilarious. So without Prince Harry, Andrew would move up 2 places as Archie also moves out of the line of succession. So if he's not in line,
Wait,
his
how,
kid
how,
gets
how would he
booted.
move up? Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, how do he move up 2 places?
So he
'Cause
gets-
his kid's out too.
It's like he's tied to him. He
Man,
gets
his
out of
kid,
line.
like, Dad, his kid's finally getting old enough, and he would have been in line. He's like, Dad, what the fuck? I would have been.
Right.
What are you? Why'd you take me out? Fuck you.
Yeah, you're never gonna get there
Right.
anyways, kid. You just weren't.
And he's in
You know.
Vancouver somewhere working in a Burger King.
You got-
72, trying to still make ends meet for fucking Frogback Island or whatever the shit they got to do. Their cottage.
But Dad would just be like, dude, be honest, Archie, you were never gonna get there. Your cunt of a fucking cousin and her brother, they're only a couple years older than you. There's 2 of them in line. Dude, what are you gonna take over the throne at 103 if you outlive them? No, forget it. You weren't gonna be there anyways.
Queen's
Take the
going to outlive
freedom.
them all. She's some kind of freak, man. She's going to be like 170.
I know. Former communications secretary for Queen Dickie Arbiter. said,
sorry, what?
Queen Dickie Abada. He said he thought it's highly unlikely they will ever move abroad and withdraw from royal duties. Harry's a senior member of the royal family. His duty is to the Queen. It is highly unlikely they will move to Canada. They have been over there for 6 weeks over Christmas, but Harry's a senior royal. Harry's a senior member of the royal family. His duty is to the Queen. They may go over there from time to time, but moving there full time and withdrawing from his royal duties is just not an option at all.
You marry an American, they start getting all up in your fucking mind.
Right? Yeah. So.
What about me?
Oh, God.
Hey,
I think he doesn't. Harry's always been a wild card.
True.
You know, he's the guy I remember photographed with the Nazi, dressed up as a fucking Nazi at the Halloween
ginger. Is he
party.
the only ginger? Where'd
Yeah.
the ginger line come in?
And full head of hair, too.
Yeah.
You know, his brother's just, whew.
Yeah, it's all going.
Yeah.
Something odd happened there.
Yeah.
Hey, insurance. We all need it, and most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasick from Wasick Insurance Services change all that. Brent has over 30 years in the business and offers all types of insurance coverage. All right, home, auto, health, life,
Oh, sorry.
business, commercial, and
I don't know. I wasn't listening to what you said.
other. God damn it.
Home and auto.
Call Brent
Other.
Wasick at 734-455-1900 and get a free no-obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900. Ask for Brent Wasick at Wasick Insurance.
Thank you, T. And
I should have done the Merc one. That would have been way better for
for money. Oh, the
for
royal.
having the money. I could have tied that right in. See, I got to work on my seguis.
Yeah. That would have been a good Segui.
Yeah, see?
Seguis are hard.
I'm part-time. What are you going to do?
Look at me right now.
Yeah, you should segui into.
I don't know what I'm going to.
What are you going to do?
Speaking of the Royals, one of our, I mean, I'd consider him a royal as far as comedians go. I mean, he's royalty. Dave Chappelle.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. That's called the professional Segui.
Boom.
Dave Chappelle, he's won the Mark Twain Prize. And I remember when Eddie Murphy won it, was like, yeah, man, you should change that to a surprise. Because surprise, you don't get any fucking money. He's like, I thought I was winning. I was getting a prize, man. It's coming back here. They're like, oh, yes. We raised $2 million with this award to you. He's like, awesome. This is going to be a great prize.
What's my cut?
Yeah, nothing. Oh, you get nothing. It's just an honor. Well, don't call it a prize then, man. Maybe call it a surprise. Prize.
What is
You
it
get
actually
nothing.
for? What,
It's the honor, you know.
is it like a lifetime achievement? Is
Yeah.
it a Mark Twain? Is it a writing award?
It's
or is
the
it...
date he received the Mark Twain Prize for Humor for Merit. So it's PBS, I believe, and it's a well respected,
Sure.
Honor to win one of those, the Mark Twain Prize, and so he won it, and this he won it back in October. This is when we first knew, and they filmed something then, and PBS just started airing it yesterday or the day before, I think.
Oh, really? It just came out?
Yeah, 9 o'clock on Tuesday.
Take your time, PBS.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Includes some footage from the ceremony, a stand-up set performed the night before. This is in Washington, D.C., where Chappelle is from. And it was cool, man. I watched him, and at one point he's on stage and he's talking about his mom, and she's there. It's like an old bird with glasses sitting there up there in the stands, and he's like, I don't know if you remember, Mom, but you had this saying you used to tell me. And he starts to say it, and they cut to her, and she's fucking mouthing along with the statement.
Really?
To Dave saying it. It's like spine tingling to see, because it's one of those, like, when you're a wolf in the woods, you need to act like, and she's just like, mouthing along. It's like, holy shit. And
She
he's
really
like,
said that.
She really did. He was not full of shit. He's like, I don't know if you remember this, Mom, but you used to say, and she absolutely remembers. It was just a cool moment.
That's cool.
He told the audience that humor, and the wit saved my life. I grew up in shitty conditions in D.C., and it was my source of protection growing up. We don't shy away from jokes. Humor was our mode of survival. The only reason I never got my ass whooped on these streets is because others viewed me as hilarious. Man, I cannot tell you what it's like to get an honor like this in this very city I started from. In fact, little trivia for you. The first show in this very room, I was the first comedian on stage. It was me, a guy named Brian Regan, and some lesbian named Ellen DeGeneres.
No kidding.
Yeah. He says, we didn't know she was gay back then. We were all trying to get with her. He said, so it gets mild applause, this and that. And he's like, he offers them an insincere apology. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a comedy club. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be America's last safe place to say what you feel like saying and laugh at what you feel like laughing. This is sacred ground. I don't want to live in a country with a brittle spirit. I want to live amongst soldiers. Encourage attendees not to censor themselves. You can use what you think. Use it. Don't be afraid. Don't let these critics button your lips. Say it anyways. Fucking love it.
Amen.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking love it.
Good, powerful words.
There is something so true about this genre when done correctly that I will fight anybody that gets in a true practitioner of this art form's way because I know you're wrong. I know what I got because I lost it all. I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something. I don't talk about it often. Have you ever worked all your life for something and have it not work out? That happened to me. It was tough. Think about it. I was gone for 12 years. It's not a little bit of time. It was hell. I watched others that I knew become very famous. I watched the world go on without me. I mourned the loss of it, and after a while, I didn't care. Coming back was terrifying. It's a powerful speech, man.
Very true.
And the guy, there were other guys that came up, and Neil Brennan was one of them, his writing partner. On what was the weed movie they did? Half-Baked.
Half-Baked.
Yeah. So he was his writing partner on Half-Baked, and then Chappelle's Show. He created Chappelle's Show with Dave Chappelle. Neil Brennan, if you're not familiar with him, his Three Mics, I think it's called.
Yep.
Special on Netflix.
Yeah, stand up, but it's almost not even just. It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Transcends all genres in a way.
He does jokes. It's three mics, and there's literally three mics on stage. One of them's lit up at the time, and then he just does stand up on one, and then he tells personal stories on another mic about his horrible upbringing with his dad, who fucking to the day his last breath told him I don't love you.
Yeah.
Like that's like the last thing his dad said.
Yeah, it's
Like,
deep.
it's fucking brutal, dude.
Another
And
one's like
10 brothers and
one-liners
sisters.
or something. Or what's the third?
He was
mic?
cut out of his will.
Something-
Jokes I did on Twitter or something. And so he's got
Something
3x5 cards of just shit he said on Twitter, and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not like any other stand-up you've seen, and he's different. I would also encourage people to seek out the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that he did with Jerry Seinfeld. Amazing. The Neil Brennan one is so good. But Neil Brennan, I gave you a couple timestamps, E, and one of them is a story about Half-Baked, and you can just tell Dave Chappelle, they keep cutting to Dave Chappelle. You can tell how much he fucking adores Neil Brennan, the reaction to everything. You know when you see, like, that's my fucking boy.
Right.
You're just proud for him. He's crushing. I thought this was so cool, so I'll play you a couple minutes of it. Again, you can catch it on PBS. It's running various times and stuff, so.
Dave gave me a career. We met in 1992 at a comedy club in New York City. We wrote a few jokes together over the years, but I'd always hoped we could do something bigger. Then in 1997, Dave calls me and goes, hey, if Universal reaches out to you, tell them we're writing a weed movie together. And I was like, what weed movie? And Dave said, don't worry about it. Next thing I know, someone from Universal calls me and asks, are you writing a weed movie with Dave Chappelle? And I was like, yes? And they go, can you pitch it to us? And I was like, in 30 days' time. So we had a month to figure the pitch out, and finally on day 29, I called Dave, and I'm like, dude, we got to work this weed movie out. And he goes, what weed movie? Anyhow, the day before the pitch, we outlined Half-Baked. It took the full day, about 16 hours, and that attention to detail really showed up on screen. Half-Baked opened against Good Will Hunting, Wag the Dog, As Good as It Gets, and oh yeah, Titanic. Right?
Anyway, that's part one.
Yeah.
I thought was great. And then go to you got the timestamp there, 4:35E.
Those
And
guys
this
came
is-
up. I mean, the Chappelle Show, like had most of these little skit things, you didn't have a whole lot of hype or anything coming into it when it first started. It was just a Comedy Central show. And,
That one blew up.
And blew. I mean, what
Immediately.
happened? Yeah, that went off the charts.
But I think I don't have that part in here. But before this, right before this, he's like, it exploded. So it got so big you had to move to Africa.
Yeah, right. Basically,
So anyway,
disappear.
Yeah.
They come back to a farm in Ohio.
Okay. Here you go.
thing that I love about Chappelle's show is that it allowed Dave to be his entire self, to express his intellect, his anger, his morality, his silliness, his hypocrisies, his sadness, his blazing talent. Chappelle's show was a rare thing. It was a fully faceted document of a human being living in the United States of America while having the surreal experience of being born with black skin. So, you know, Playboy After Dark.
It's a reference to a joke earlier.
Also, the show was personal. See, I always felt like Dave blamed me for the failure of Half Baked. So one day we were shooting a sketch where Dave quit the show because he got Oprah pregnant. And we're doing a scene where he's going, like, rampaging through the offices, and he gets to me, and he dumps trash over my head. And here's why I suspect he blamed me for Half Baked. As he dumped the trash over my head, he said, "This is for Half Baked." All right, as you can see, he claims that I actually wrote that line and told him to say it, which is the only time this entire evening that I'll be receiving any credit for Chappelle's show.
Isn't that fucking awesome?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, really good.
yeah.
I love Chappelle.
Yeah, Chappelle's the best. I mean, he's the best.
And they're tight. It's
Yeah.
the Odd Couple kind of a thing, but when
It got
when
ugly
people
for
meet,
a while there.
Well, true, they had a falling out, but it's nice
Well-
to see them put it back together.
I don't know that they had a falling out, but I don't think in the beginning Neil Brennan understood, like, dude, we just got $50 million from Comedy. What the fuck? Chappelle Show ran, what, 2 seasons? 3 seasons?
Yeah, it was
I'm not
3 or
sure.
4. It was longer than that. I mean,
I don't think it was more than 3, dude.
It may not. Well,
And he just bounced.
yeah, couldn't take it.
And couldn't take the pressure, the absolute explosion of fame.
3 seasons.
3 seasons, yeah. And it was such a good show. I remember like, Fellhauer and I lived together during those years, and it was like Wednesday night Chappelle Show. We just couldn't fucking wait. It was
Can't
like,
miss it.
oh my God, 2 more hours, man, fucking Chappelle Show. And it was just, every episode provided something that was just so strong.
You could probably name as many bits out of the Chappelle Show in 3 years as you could out of SNL in a lifetime, in a way. Almost.
Yeah.
They've had so many good, memorable, groundbreaking bits.
Game-changing bits.
Really. And I mean,
Yeah.
push the envelope in so many ways.
Well, you know, the other thing that Dave ran into a problem with, I remember, was he did so many of those really sensitive racial things that, you know, the blind white supremacist.
Yeah.
And
Clayton Bigsby.
The nigger family. Hey,
Yep.
nigger family.
Hey, niggers.
Hey, niggers. He comes in as the mailman. Hey, good morning, niggers. And that's just their name.
Yeah.
And so he said, you know, I felt like people were, I was giving them an excuse to use that, and they were becoming more comfortable. White people coming up to me going, man, that family was fucking, you know, and it's like, whoa, dude, you shouldn't.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so he was having, I think Rock went through this too, you know, was having similar things where it was like, fuck, man, am I doing good for society or am I setting things back?
Yeah.
The opposite of what I'm trying to do. And so
When you use it, it was sort of their thing, you know.
Yeah.
The blacks. That you could say it. It was accepted on that side. You could say it. Obviously, we couldn't. They can, and it was.
Yeah.
But when
Those
you
people.
well, no, but when you become that mainstream, when you blow up the Chris Rocks, the Chappelle shows, and you cross, race, genre, all that stuff. Yeah, it's going to have that effect in a way.
Yeah.
Because you can't make it acceptable, but it's still not. It blurs that line, and I could see where that would happen.
Totally does.
Yeah.
And Rock really struggled with, because he did that famous bit. It was either Bigger and Blacker was the set, or the one before that. I can't remember which one it was. Dynamite. And you know, when he did that whole, there's black people and then there's, you know,
Yeah.
and did this whole fucking thing about, you know, we just as scared of the ends as you are, you know, and when he was doing that, it gave people still quote that, still use that. Hey man, I don't mind black people. It's not that I can't, you know.
Right.
And it almost gave permission to do that. I know that bothered him a lot.
Sure.
And then there was another one. I think Chappelle did a bit about, hey, black people, how to behave when being pulled over by the police.
Yeah,
And
they
you
did.
know that one, and it's just like, no, you're going to want to say this, but don't. You're going to want to, and it's just this whole breakdown. And it's honestly just like a masterclass in how to behave if you're pulled over by the police.
And it's true. Yeah.
And it's true. It's not, it's funny because it's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Or I think Chappelle did that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
But, a lot of people were like, hey, man, fuck you. I'm getting my ass kicked by the cops no matter how I behave. I'm getting fucked with and pulled over no matter, like, don't just generalize and act like,
Like it's
none
me.
of us we're all savages who don't know how to behave when pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
And so those bits really, while they were hilarious and spoke for a generation and will be quoted forever,
True.
gave those guys a lot of internal, shit. And I think that's why, guys like Rock disappeared for a while and Chappelle for 12 years.
Right.
And he came back a different dude.
He did.
And he came back angrier. His first stand-ups when he's kind of falling back into the pocket of Dave Chappelle now.
Yeah.
Which I love. I loved Sticks and Stones and his later ones, but he was getting pretty fucking angry.
I got to see him, one of his first, I don't know the exact timeline. I know he came here, obviously, there's the famous one when he lost
the
his shit
meltdown, yeah.
in Detroit.
Got too high, man.
And not too long after that, a couple years, whatever it was, he came, some fucking show at Freedom Hill. Lauryn Hill,
Oh, yeah, I remember when we went to
Nas,
that.
and Chappelle. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what a great show to go.
Yeah.
I bought some lawn seats for like $10 and went out and just got all stoned out. And what a fucking great show. But it was one of his first things when he was coming back out.
Yeah.
And he was, third billing on there. There was some reggae thing, and then Chappelle, and then Nas and Lauryn Hill. But
That
It
seems like a
was-
bigger fucking gig than Freedom Hill, man.
it should
Every
have
one
been.
of those names should be able to sell
You would
out Freedom
think,
Hill.
yeah, but it was, and it was a great show and it was hysterical. But it was so almost refreshing to have him come back, told the story, And
Yeah.
same thing. That was even at Freedom Hill, locked up the phones. You couldn't do the shit when there was stupid bags or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
you got to do, or just don't bring it in or whatever. But he came out and he was like, "Yeah, motherfuckers, I'm why you can't have your phone. I can't trust you fucking people. Last
Yeah.
time I let you have phones, you fucked me over." And, and it was great. It was one of the funniest bits I've ever seen. I couldn't quote a line from it to save my life right now because I missed half of it laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
But it was so good to see him come back because it was sort of in that time where he had been gone forever. And that, and he finally came back, and you're like, oh my God, dude, this guy's so good.
He's been so missed.
So good, man. I'm so
Yeah.
glad he's back. It's nice to be able to see it in.
Yeah. See, I wasn't at that show, the Meltdown show, but I saw that tour in at a different venue, I think in Detroit, around that time, and I can't remember where that was, but
That was the first of two nights. Did you go maybe the second
maybe
night or
something like
that?
that. But then I saw him a couple years ago in Arizona. I was visiting G. And he's like, "Hey man, Chappelle's in town. Should we go?" And he's like, "I'll get good seats." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And Chappelle opened that thing with, a big auditorium. I've seen Bill Burr there. It's 7,000 people. It's pretty big. And Chappelle came out and did 10 minutes on, "Man, I was in Detroit," and it's like. The story got out and it was bullshit, and he breaks it down, bump.
What really happened?
I mean, it became a bit in this, like a legit opening thing, that Meltdown in Detroit, because he was so taken out of context.
That was the elephant in the room. You almost have to address it in a way, and if you can make it funny, which he can make anything funny, and you can incorporate it into your act and come out and sort of explain it and be funny, it's a win-win.
There's Chappelle is famous too, like Norm. Norm Macdonald can take the stage and do 3 hours of just improv, just fuck with the crowd. Chappelle can do that. And I know I didn't go one time, but Mark did. And he was like, dude, he was on stage for 3.5 hours last night at the Fox. Just fucking, you can tell none of it was planned or anything. He was just riffing.
Just going.
And he just killed.
Is that funny of a guy?
Awesome.
Just natural.
I mentioned Larry David earlier. And getting excited. I think, is it this weekend, Sunday? Is that the premiere? What day is
I don't
today?
know, honestly.
Today's the 8th. I think it premieres on the 19th. So,
A couple weeks.
yeah.
Excellent.
Curb Your Enthusiasm back for a 10th season. You believe that's been going
Wow.
for 10 seasons?
I can believe it, but
Yeah. I guess,
Actually,
but
you say 10 seasons, but actually, when did it start?
20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, because he'll go 4 years without dropping
without
a
doing
season.
it, right.
I mean, he was kind of consistent for the early ones, and then it was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it again. And I think it took all of us by surprise. Like, what? There's a new.
Yeah, I was surprised when it came back. I thought it was just done, and they were just Netflixing or
October
HBO
2000 was the first
one.
episode. Yeah.
Wow.
20 years. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're like, he's outlived The Sopranos and Walter White and, all these like big names that were around 20 years, starting 20 years ago. He's like, he's the only one left.
And that's the beauty of it. That's
the
how you do it.
humor
Leave them
is-
wanting more.
Well, not only that, but the humor. The reality is the humor is not time. It's not time sensitive. It's not catchphrases like talk to the hand. It's about stuff that's just social stuff that we all go through, and it can always evolve as long as he's evolving in society.
True.
I mean, so
And it's his awkwardness and his social.
Yeah.
what do you do when you're in lines? Just any of that shit.
Brett Martin from GQ Magazine, and this is the February 2020 issue. They've got him on the cover, this and that.
It's
And of
January.
course,
How the fuck is it February's
I know,
issue out?
Dude, Playboy would put out there. We'd be in June right now. The June episode comes out next week. But he, Larry will agree to do some of these things and then dread it, be miserable. He'll try to get out of it. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't think it's going to be any good. And so, but this guy was able to get this. The new season's drop, and so the article opens with the kid is wearing a T-shirt that says "Eat more avocado," and he's a waiter in a restaurant at this Venice Beach cafe. And he's waiting on me and Larry David, who's of course dressed precisely like Larry David: gray knit hoodie, long sleeve tee, white shirt underneath that, beige jeans and sneakers. He chooses or approves all wardrobe for Curb, and then he keeps all the clothes. That's what I was telling you guys about. He's always approached clothing with something of a tailor's eye. The very first Seinfeld gag was about a shirt button placement. First, Curb centered on a crotch cut too big, thus simulating an erection.
The tree or whatever, the tent.
He has a code. One should wear only one nice piece of clothing at a time. Otherwise, it's too much. Too dressed. You have to be half dressed. Half is more. In the course of all this, David's decaf Americano has gone tragically tepid. It's cooled while he's lecturing about his ideas on clothing and whatnot. So he beckons the avocado kid who has hovered nearby. Let me ask you, to make this a little hotter, you have to make a whole new thing, right? And the kid's like, or dilute it, but we'll probably just make a whole new thing. I'm going to tell you in advance, I'm only going to drink about this much of it. And he's just like, just a pinch. It is what it is, the kid says. You know what? Put it in the microwave. We don't have a microwave. He's like, okay, forget it. Kid shrugs. All right, man, I'm sorry. And he withdraws. David and I return to our discussion, which has now moved on to his disdain for the supposed innovation of untucked shirts.
Perfect.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever wore a shirt out and noticed it was too long. We all noticed. I just had him, and then the kid comes back with a fresh thing of coffee, carafe, not a mug, but a carafe, And I just had to make
Carafe,
another
but okay.
carafe. Yeah, thank you, Marin, son of a bitch.
Potato. Move on.
Fuck you. So I just had to make another one. He probably says as he tops off our cups, so he pours it in there. Great, thank you, says David, and then he pauses a moment. But just for the sake of discussion, shouldn't you have brought a new cup? The server's like, what? He's like, so you don't put it in the old cold coffee. Here, let me see. And he takes a sip of it. He's like, kid's like, is it hotter? He's like, it's a little hotter, but don't you see how you defeated the purpose? The kid has a small grin frozen on his face. On one hand, there's a real customer service situation. On the other, he must feel, as I do, deeply disoriented, as though he passed through the looking glass and into an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah. It's like getting a living room concert with the Rolling Stones. A few more seconds and the server snaps out of it. Well, live and learn. Every day I'm working on my craft. And David grins too. I know. And then as the server's walking away, he says, I know you're going to be a great waiter someday.
That's the beauty of him, is that's literally him.
Him.
I mean, that's not an act. It's not that's what he's like. I mean, not that I know him personally, that I can speak to it, but that's for all intents and purposes. That's him.
Yeah, it's totally him. And the more you read, it's like, dude, he's just that guy. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. He says, so the writer says, my time in Larry World begins several weeks before we meet in Venice. For one thing, we've talked on the phone, during which call David has assured me that this whole thing, story, photo shoot, magazine cover, is going to be a disaster. I'm trying to figure out who to pay to get out of it. This is something he's done before with other writers about to attempt profiles. He's talked to my editor, too, warning that if the plan is to get under my surface, you might as well give up now. Believe me, there's nothing there.
This is it.
Unrepentant, white male bad behavior may be slightly less fashionable these days, but Larry's crimes and misdemeanors are so well established, he feels grandfathered in. This may be tested by a hashtag MeToo plotline in season 10, about which I am permitted to say no more.
It's funny.
So, yeah, there's going to be a Me Too storyline in this upcoming season. Larry wants every show to be like a pimple, says Jeff Schaefer, who's executive producer. He was executive producer on Seinfeld as well. You have no idea it's coming. Just wake up in the morning and it's there. For the most part, Curb has sailed into the third decade of the 21st century, unmolested by events and changes outside its bubble. Wars may rage, divorces endured. TV Larry will still find time to obsess over the intricacies of party invites and thank you calls. Everybody's worried about the big things like climate change and corruption. Somebody's got to focus on the little things. Spot on.
True.
In the early days, we'd get a call from Larry himself. Can you come down tomorrow? Says Ted Danson, who made his first appearance in season 1.
Right.
You know, bring whatever clothes you want. There were no trailers. You kind of sat in your car until they were ready for you. It was really sort of guerrilla TV making. 10 seasons in, production's more professional, budget's bigger, but the show is made more or less as it always has been. David and Schaefer labor over outlines for each episode. The scenes themselves are improvised. Though Curb has been a grand central terminal for famous cameos, the process is not for everybody. Some actors come in trying too hard to be funny. Others have trouble negotiating the tricky landscape of exactly how to insult Larry. On one hand, he loves abuse and is notorious for bursting into laughter whenever someone lays into him. On the other hand, it's not exactly open season. There are a few things you should never do in an audition with Larry. One is that unless the scene absolutely calls for it, don't start to cry. Because then the scene is just over. 2, try not to touch his face. Just don't touch his face.
There are a lot of people that was a situation where in auditions, they were like,
I don't know.
I just want to touch his face.
And 3, there's a difference between insults for comedy and just being plain insulting. Larry is sensitive. I've been called terrible names, David says. Old used to really bother me. He says he only expects that others abide by the same code he follows. I never cross a line where I'm commenting on somebody's looks. Never would I say anything that could personally hurt or insult somebody. To his mind, TV Larry is no anti-hero. He's a real hero.
I would agree with that.
When I was told,
Fighting for the little guy.
I thought of E. When I was reading this period, I just thought of E. There's so many parts about Big E that are in Larry David.
Yeah.
Like him, like, no, what do you mean I'm an anti-hero? I'm an absolute hero. And he believes it. Here's why. When I was told there were moments in the show that made people cringe, I was shocked. It never occurred to me. What do you think is the animating emotion of the show then? This reporter asked. I just thought people were going to enjoy it. I'll tell you this. If something made me cringe, I don't think I'd put it in the show. So Larry's just a truth teller. Yes. He doesn't cross the line at all. He's expressing himself. And it's admirable. Totally. When you think of the way we conduct ourselves in life, how much bullshit we have to endure, how much bullshit we have to listen to, and how much bullshit comes out of us just to avoid hurting someone's feelings. All these rules we set up ourselves. I don't think I'm a bad guy. I'm honest. I'm not mean. I'm never cruel. Come up with one example where I've done something bad. I don't think you'll find it.
I could give you an example, not of him, but I could give you an example of from me just today with you, when you talk about that. Like when I came in today, you said, like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm here. And then you kind of got whatever. And I was like,
can you just be fucking normal?
I know,
once?
but I'm just saying, like, what do you mean? What am I doing? I'm here. I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to be doing
do a
something
show.
else later.
Do you think of yourself as a hero?
No, I don't think of myself as that. But I'm just saying, when he talks about that, like, that was just tonight, where it's like I was doing some stuff earlier, and this is what I'm doing now. And then...
So he says. So this guy's like Larry David says, go ahead, point to it where I was mean, blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah,
and he says, I mentioned a scene from season 7 in which TV Larry stops a little girl, Jeff and Susie's daughter, from singing at a party. So remember, she starts singing.
It's awful.
And he's just like, oh, okay, we got it. Yeah, good. Shuts her up. Go off the. And everyone's like, hey, Larry, she was in the middle of the song. She worked so hard. He's like, yeah, no one cares. And he says, to me, that's too funny to be mean. When it's funny, it's not mean. It's just funny.
True.
There you go.
Are there things TV Larry does that he wouldn't do? I wouldn't do anything. Would I ever stop a girl from singing in my life? No. Would I stand there thinking, boy, I wish I could stop her? Yes. That's why there's a show. TV Larry may have begun as an avatar for all the things real Larry wished he could say, but couldn't. I love this. So he's like, but it's morphed. And so people love Larry David. So he's got a girlfriend that he's had for a couple of years. She moved in like a year ago. And she's like, yeah, there's some benefits to it, though. He said, if we're at a dinner party Larry takes the last bite of food, he'll just stand up and everyone just starts laughing because they know I'm out.
Time to go.
Fucking
I'm
gone.
done.
And people just laugh and it's like, we just get to fucking leave. We don't have to do shit, say goodbye. So he's like, we've trained people that this is Larry David. So,
Right.
well, that was the last bite of food. Out.
It's a good existence.
It's fucking great.
Years of training to get people to get on board with that shit.
She's
Yes, it has.
I get to ride his coattails.
Right.
What was that?
I said, yes, it has.
He's grooming us all.
Hell yeah. He's lived in the same house for 10 years. Right after he got divorced, his daughters grew up there.
The show was so real that honestly, I for a while assumed that his wife in the show was his wife.
Cheryl?
I thought that was
It
his
still
wife.
pisses me off
honestly.
that they haven't gotten back together. I loved the dynamic between the two of them so
Yeah.
much, you know. But yeah, his daughters are 25 and 23 now, but they grew up there, and so he's just stayed there. All in all, it's a place that in every way radiates great success, none of which, it seems, has accrued to any sense of inevitability. And he says, let's face it, if Seinfeld doesn't come along, he's like, I bump into Jerry Seinfeld at Catch a Rising Star or whatever in 80 whenever, and on a just chance, he's like, and then this thing starts, and he's like, let's face it, if Seinfeld doesn't come along, what happens to me really? Here's what I think. I think I'm living in a studio apartment in New York. I think I'm miserable doing it. I think I hate everything and everybody, including myself most of all. I think I'm a guy walking down the street screaming at people for slights like a bump into without a sorry, things like that. This whole happiness from the inside thing, where is it coming from? What am I feeling good about? You have to have some sense of accomplishment. There was a dark period as a failing stand-up in New York when his parents paid for him to seek therapy. I couldn't have hated it more because I knew that you need two things. You need money and you need a girlfriend. With no money, there's no girlfriend. Of course, I hated myself deeply, but that's because I didn't have the money and the girlfriend. If I had money and the girlfriend, I knew I would hate myself a little bit less.
It's funny.
It's the moral of every story.
Isn't that just so Larry David?
Yeah.
Fuck. You know, and there's a lot more in there. I didn't read the
Sure.
whole thing, but
Even the Seinfeld, it only works with Seinfeld. Like he was able to pull that off and sort of become Larry David in a way,
Right.
sort of those mannerisms. I mean, you think about back in the day of who
mannerisms.
Paul. What did I fuck that up?
Mannerisms.
Oh,
Only because you corrected me on
yeah.
carafe.
Well, yeah.
Carafe.
No, but I mean, like Paul Reiser, some of the guys that were like
Oh, yeah.
mainstream back in the day would have never worked. Wouldn't have been the same.
Well,
One of those things where all the pieces just fell into place. And
who was
worked.
it at first? Was it? It might have been Paul Reiser. Was it Mad About You?
That was Reiser's show.
That was Reiser's show, and then you had Tim Allen, obviously, and so they were just giving shows to comics, just
Yeah.
giving away. Like any fucking comic had a pitch, they could get a show.
Yep.
Because I don't remember what the first one that was successful was, but it might have been Mad About You, and there were a couple other ones too, some bad ones. But Seinfeld was a beneficiary of that. But yeah, I mean, I think, it's easy to not get like, oh, the co-creators, Neil Brennan. You think of Chappelle's show and it's Dave Chappelle. When you see Neil do stand-up, you're like, oh, okay, this motherfucker's no bullshit, Larry David, when he came out with Curb, it was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think people if you were a real nerd,
Like, you
Seinfeld,
figured out
you kind of knew
who-
who he was, but that's when you really found out who he. Like, you know what I mean? People if you're a real nerd, you did know that there was this other guy, kind of weirdo that was.
Oh, yeah,
helping
he had
Seinfeld,
cameos
right.
all over Seinfeld. He was
Yeah.
George Steinbrenner.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
The
But I'm
Voice.
just saying. But you're right. Then when Curb came out, it was like, oh shit.
No, right.
But it was just like an R-rated version
Yeah.
of Seinfeld. Better. I think it's better than
I
Seinfeld.
agree.
Right.
I agree.
It
Right?
is.
I mean, there's probably some episodes of Seinfeld that are. I mean, some of the Elaine stuff and George, like
I
just
fucking
great.
love Elaine and George so much.
I know,
I love them so much.
Get a room.
I can't help
dude.
it.
The gag reel of
Yeah.
what's his name's dad, George's dad, but it's what fuck.
Oh, I don't know his name, but yeah.
Ben Stiller.
Stillers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Ben
yeah,
Stiller's dad and Elaine.
Yeah.
You want a piece of meat? Like, I don't know if you've seen the outtakes
I
of
have
that.
not.
Dude, do you want to find that really
Yeah,
quick,
it's
E?
good.
Is that good?
Yeah, because she can't stop laughing when he's like, "What? You saying you want a piece of me?" And she's just like, "Oh, fuck!" And you can see the actors behind them trying to keep it together. And I think if you watch the actual episode, it's kind of like when we were watching the outtakes of
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down.
Just the other day, yeah, we pulled that up.
And I watched one of those episodes from that, and you can see a slight smile starting to come over the face of what's his name, Chris Robinson or
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson. It's like, yeah, he was going to.
That was that time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Took 50 takes to get through that because Farrell was just killing it.
Who put you up?
Shit, this is part. I hope this. I think this is right at the beginning here, so I got lucky, I guess.
After this. Was it her?
All right, wait a minute. I think you've got it backwards.
My George isn't clever enough to hatch a scheme like this.
You got that right.
The hell does that mean? You saying you want a piece of me?
I can drop you like a bag of dirt.
You want a piece of me? You got it!
Elaine, honestly, I really think, like, I know
So good.
Jerry's the name, but Elaine is fucking awesome on that show because she's so just fucking cold-hearted.
Everybody
Even-
had their little piece
Yeah.
chunked out in that show.
And it's so cool when you read, like, if not for that horrible, horrible, horrible season of SNL where Larry came on as a writer and a young, Elaine, Julie Louis-Dreyfus
Yeah.
is on as a cast member. The season sucks. Nobody was more miserable doing that show as Larry David other than Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and that's what they bonded over. So these few months together, and it was like, hey, when they're casting Seinfeld, he was like, this chick, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, man, she was pretty cool, and bang, there you go. And,
when it works, it works.
And it's just like all these things come together, and it's like, yeah, that chick was good. She hated SNL too. Let's bring her in.
Yeah, it was the perfect cast. Just the chemistry worked.
Awesome.
The way that stuff works. And good shows come and go, and they're just not cast properly, or there's some component missing. That they come and they go, whatever. But that was one that just hit and stayed.
So good. So good.
Hey,
Yeah.
how much money are you going to need in retirement?
Lots.
Oh, you sure you're not going to outlive your money? No. Having a plan today means you can adjust for your life changes. Retirement doesn't have to be a mystery. Contact Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial today to learn the answer to one of the most important questions for your retirement. Call 248-626-2000 and ask for Merck.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Good jobby.
Do I have to insert a spot here?
I think so.
What am I doing here? What is it for?
Mayor.
Kyle Mayer?
I'm going to file with Kyle.
Yeah, I'll file with Kyle. I'm going to
You
see.
going to file with Kyle?
I always do.
You should.
I'm going to see Kyle, I believe, on Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
You going to file already?
Yeah, for 2017. There was something we needed to go over, and he's like, well, dude, why don't I come over Friday and we'll go through it. So,
Perfect.
Yeah,
Can't wait to
yeah.
see him.
So give me a second. We'll insert it here. We'll be right back.
And boom.
Thanks, Kyle. That was great.
Yeah, it's the guy.
That's hilarious. What were you saying, T?
Wow, we just took a little break for a second. I looked down. I get a notification that Newberg went live with Heroin Has. So
What a dick
I was like,
face.
hey, asshole, we're live.
Call him
Gonna
right
wait
now and start
fucking a few
fucking
minutes.
with his show.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
got a hot chick on though, so whatever. Good for
Does
him.
he?
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know how much I'm supposed to say. He'll probably say everything. So
Probably already did.
probably already did. But I was talking to him. Fuck.
Simmer down.
Where's my entertainer secret sheet?
Easy, Brooks.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So, E, any big plans
Oh,
with
this will be good.
Mandy? when are you going to see the lovely lady again?
Well, see, the thing is, there's a situation. So what I did is like I didn't do this on purpose. I will say that at first. I did not do this on purpose.
What,
But I
dump
was
it?
coming, I was coming up with, these gifts I give now are all experience gifts. So for my parents, I was trying to decide. My fucking mom and dad are so hard to shop for, and I was trying to come up with things to do that would be cool for them. And I finally came up with like Grand Rapids. Hey, what if we go to?
boy.
What if we go to
Oh, no.
a minor league hockey game, or whatever?
Two birds, one
He's
stone.
just trying to get to Grand fucking Rapids, man.
Well, then I'm like, if I'm gonna go to Grand Rapids for a night, I might as well look on the calendar and see what night would work out.
Yeah.
That someone could come visit me after.
Why do you want to go on a Monday?
Why would you take her to the game?
Well, for one,
You're going to take your parents to Grand Rapids, and you're not
Not going to
gonna
introduce your girl.
No.
Wow, I actually almost was proud of you
I was
that was
too.
going to be your in. That was going to be your move.
The
Hey,
actual
by the way,
surprise, the
that-
great present would have been that.
why?
You know what I mean?
Why fuck?
By the way, this is Mandy. I've been dating her for 6 years. She's
They'll
coming
find
to the
out
game
when
with
we-
us.
They'll find out when we move in together.
Wow, so that's two birds,
Oh
two
my God.
stones. I think.
Two stones,
So
one
like
bird.
the thing is going to happen is like so obviously I got two different rooms, and I got the rooms because it was part of the gift, and I got them, and I'm going to make sure that they're
Not adjoining
Well, I actually purposely went in and made them as two separate
reservations.
even. So like, and so she's just gonna come over after work, and then whatever.
Sure.
And then
What do you mean, whatever? Don't yada yada yada. The best part.
So tell them that one of them you want the highest room possible, and then the other one we need ground level. So that there's definite separation.
Right,
No
right.
chance of meeting in the elevator or anything weird.
yeah.
One of them could be the honeymoon suite,
I mean,
perhaps.
I really didn't honestly like. I looked into things to do for my parents and tried to find other like. I really thought about things like going to Holland and stuff. We did Holland a few years ago together, and they're not. The problem is they're not people who go out and they're not going to bar hop. They're not going to like go to a. They're not going to go to a concert. I mean, my dad bought some of the Billy Joel things, but they're not going to like do like a comedy club. Even I wouldn't want to do that with them. So Grand Rapids really was in my range of things. Like I literally looked up into Frankenmuth, and we already go there for Christmas. I looked at different cities, and it just really was the best thing to do for both of them. And then it just happened to work out, of course.
Oh,
like that.
sure.
And it worked out for your dick, too.
Crazy.
Yeah, it would work out for
Your
that.
dick got the best gift of all.
Right, for sure. It was a dual gift.
I am so disappointed that that's not
I
going
am
to
too.
happen. I really
Yeah.
thought that was going to make. When is this? When are you going?
I'm inclined to call
This
your mom and
Saturday.
tip
Oh,
her
it's
off.
this.
Saturday?
Yeah.
And so you guys are staying there
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. So
No,
how many?
Saturday night.
That's it?
Yeah.
And so your girl's coming over Saturday night then or Sunday morning.
Yeah, after work Saturday.
Okay. And so you're going to go to Pound Town all night, start doing some cocktailing with her.
Yeah.
And then your mom and dad are going to wake up at 7 and want to hit the road, Eric. Let's,
I already told. The plan. I already said that's the. I wake up so fucking early anyway, no matter what. So that's already the plan. The plan is that then she gets to keep that room until 11, I guess, or whenever checkout
so
is.
you're going to just leave
You
her in
just
the room by
bail,
herself?
let her finish herself
Take
off.
her to,
Well, I'm
not going to take her to breakfast in the morning?
Have a nice Belgian
She doesn't-
waffle
she
and go
fucking-
back at it.
She sleeps so fucking. She's a person who actually sleeps in. So like, this is what's actually going to happen in reality is that I'll fucking wake up so fucking early. Even if we go to bed at 3 in the morning, I'll wake up at fucking 8.
Yeah.
Or if not earlier, if not 7, I'll wander down. I'll eat my own continental breakfast. And I'll bring some back up to the room for
Is that
her.
code?
Yeah.
And, what'd you say?
Was that code?
No, he's not eating.
Oh, yeah,
it.
no, that is the continental
the
breakfast, right,
actual
yes.
breakfast,
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
I'll bring.
We're not.
Continental breakfast.
Oh, right. No, then I'll bring
But
some
dude,
back up.
what?
and then-
Here's the
Blue
tea.
waffle.
I don't even need
Some cantaloupe,
some cantaloupe.
some French twat.
Here's what tea would do. in this situation.
Well, you don't know.
Well, I'm not.
I got a good idea. And I just broadly speaking, she's sleeping in bed, and T's like, oh, hell yeah, get my Mac on. There'd probably just be like some fucking cool jazz music playing in the room already.
Sure.
Anyways, you would go downstairs, get a Belgian waffle, and 4 cans of whipped cream, and then just pimp limp back up to the fucking room, and then just fucking.
Look what I got.
Yeah, look what I got
Look what I
for us,
found.
honey. Oh, you like to sleep in, do you? Good luck.
Sure.
Well, I
then
don't know if you noticed this, but me and T-Roy are 2 different people.
No,
That's fair.
So I mean,
That's fair.
Yeah, but if you're never going to establish a pimp limp, can you learn nothing from this man?
I don't want.
Take
I
notes.
have my own. I'm my own person.
You don't want that. You don't want the pimp limp.
Yeah, I don't think that he likes the pimp walk. Actually,
So, you know,
I would imagine
It's not about the.
can I be honest with you? I fake it.
Yeah,
It's for sympathy.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Chicks fucking dig it.
Son of a bitch.
yeah,
feel
but
bad for
he's committed, man. He's a method actor.
Oh yeah.
He's-
You gotta
he's-
go all in.
Yep.
I'm good.
I swear to God, I'm gonna call your fucking mom. This
If you
is
do that, that's
it's-
going to be very. I'm not going to be very happy with.
Are we
you.
still in the Mexican standoff?
Yes.
Does this still go? Are we still at the quid pro quo,
What do you
as they
mean?
say?
Yeah. The.
No you, no her.
Are you a cunning linguist?
What is that? What is that? Oh, well, I mean, you got to remember, I haven't even
You haven't
seen her
seen
since
her?
whenever I saw her. I
So
mean,
it's still okay. Yeah. Well, so it still stands.
wherever we're. Yeah, I guess.
The
So-
off still stands. Of
So.
the standoff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of pictures? What's the latest series of pictures that have been sent to and fro?
I mean, I don't know whatever that means. I don't know.
You know
I mean,
exactly what
dick
that
pictures
means.
are the same dick pictures. In reality, what's the difference, right? Like fucking.
Yeah, but you want a new video. You watched the one video. You want a new one.
I mean, I just
Let's
got
see how many
pictures.
fingers you can fit in there this time, honey. You know. Let's try.
I
setting a
have whatever
record, see?
pictures I have are good. I've stopped watching porn. That's all I jerk off to now.
Isn't that the
so-
best part of having a girl?
Yeah,
You don't need to
I'm
do
actually
that.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone always said. Like that's the thing. It was always hilarious of a joke to me when people like this idea that they would come saying like, "Oh, how addicted to porn." I was never addicted to porn.
Just all
I just
you
wasn't
had.
getting sex. Like I,
The next best option.
Right. It was like I was not happy that I was watching porn 3 times a day.
Yeah, just taking the
There
bullets
are
out of the gun,
people-
man.
People
Couple
that
times
have
a day.
real problems with porn. Like for one, you'd probably be like I'm not even kidding. I haven't watched porn. I think in at least a month now, if not more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So you were watching porn 3 times a day?
and I had times for sure when I was, yeah.
Yeah, he's a monkey, dude.
You
Well,
going dry the
again,
whole time? You lube that thing up? What do? How do you not rip the fucking skin right off that?
I mean, I don't know how personal you want to get in some of this.
Personally,
I
he's a
guess,
gentle lover.
but
Right?
I mean, I don't know. Like it would just be like the thing is because of my lifestyle. I just would usually those times would happen is because I'd wake up and be like, I guess I might as well fucking jerk off, and then.
Now, are
And
you
at some point,
when
if
you
I
wake
would've-
up? Are you thinking I'm gonna jerk off, or well, it's already awake, so I might as well.
Generally,
No, yeah, no, I
Dick wakes
wasn't
up
like-
before you do. Yeah.
Yeah, is your dick like attention, standing tall when you wake up?
No, but it would just be more like I just kind of up.
I got
So it's
nothing else to
might as
do,
well
fuck
do
it.
this,
Yeah.
and then if I would take a nap, I'd always do that before the nap, and then
Does help you
before,
sleep, I'm not gonna
Before I
lie.
go to bed, it's like might as well fucking do this again.
Like a
you know?
sleeping pill.
So T brings up a very, very good point here. 2T's point.
Hey yo.
How do you not just like carve that? Is it calloused? Have you established
think
calluses on your shaft? I mean, you lit it on fire once.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be
cauterized.
Fine.
It is. It's got to be right. He's got.
Maybe
I mean, look at
toughen
T's
it right
man
up.
hands,
Oh,
like
yeah.
calloused up. Like
Yeah, I
mine
gotta
are.
be careful. I got rough ass hands, so I do have to be careful.
Yeah, like mine are little baby's
Yeah, I
bottom
kind of got
soft,
soft hands.
you know?
So,
Yeah, see, you guys are
So is that what it is?
I got
I
man
guess
hands.
maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is.
T just knows. Damn, if I go in for a
Maybe
jerk off
right.
session, I'm
Maybe
gonna
if
rip
I
the skin off it.
fucking had real man hands, then it would have sucked.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I
More
only
than
know
once
what
a
I
day,
know.
I'm going to be in trouble. That's all I know. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not capable. I just will hurt
Right,
myself.
right, of course.
Has your style changed at all? Are you the same? Is it just a routine for you? Put on the porn, do this, make it blow, and then shut it off.
What do you mean? I mean, because I don't.
I mean, like, some people like to fuck a sock or the baseball mitt or the
God, no, I
couch
don't do
or
any of that shit.
the cat.
No.
Tony.
You still just let it land where it lands? You clean up or what?
no.
Just what happens, happens. Fuck it. Let it dry
yeah,
on there
kinda,
like
I guess.
Fuck, you're
pancake
still
batter?
doing that, dude.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
No, you do know.
You're actually the
You know
only one that
exactly.
Yeah,
knows.
it kind of just goes wherever. I guess.
Wherever. Well, come what may.
Yeah. God bless her. She's a saint of a woman,
Yes.
Mandy.
Right?
Saint of a
Yeah.
woman. I like that giggle.
Hopefully she's
I
not
like the
listening right
giggle.
now, maybe. But
Yeah, eventually.
she said she might be.
What?
so, today? Just I don't know. She was
What,
working.
listen
so
to the
she-
show?
Yeah,
You did good.
yeah.
You did real good, E. I'm proud of you.
Just give it back, man. Listen, I know it's not your favorite, but
I know.
Surprise her.
It's going to happen at some
End
point.
that
here.
standoff.
I know. It will. It will happen.
surprise her. Just dive right in.
It will happen at some point. I just haven't, I don't know. Haven't gotten.
You got to get all liquored up. Last time you were sober, and there was no way you were going in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there
liquid
like
courage.
wouldn't if you wore a mask or something? Can
Oh.
you wear a mask to
They,
do it?
they make a little like tongue condom. I think,
Yeah,
you
if they
could put on your mouth, you could do that.
You
Would
should,
that be?
just for the story, you
How
should wear one of
offensive
those
would that be?
plastic masks with a tongue rubber on.
I
I mean, I guess.
think you could just do it with like saran wrap or something. You can make your own.
Sure.
Or you know what you could do? You know how they have those the like vibrating tongues, and it's like bzzz, and it just goes in a circle.
Yeah.
If you turn that on, put it in your mouth, and just went down there,
Pretend it's you.
and just like
Yeah, there you go. Why not?
you'd have to have
Why are
music.
you making that noise?
I was gonna say you'd have to have like Blink 182 playing in the background. All the small things.
Yeah.
You know,
No-
you'd have
no
to have
pun
music
intended.
on to drown that out. But
Right.
dude, you could go down there and blow her mind. Just like, yeah, excuse me for a minute. I'm gonna go down there and take care of a little business, if you know what I mean, Mandy. Don't wait up for me.
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Just keep batteries fresh on hand. You don't want to run downstairs at 2 in the morning and pull fucking AAA batteries out of a remote.
Who the hell would do that?
A monster.
Jesus.
That's never been done before. Certainly not by moi.
Telling you, surprise her. That's the thing. Don't make her ask for it. Don't make her teach you. Just one day, just be like,
Oh, no. Well,
lay down. Let
You
me
know what?
show you something.
Here's what we need to do. We need to take him to school, man. We need to get one of those ass vagine models,
Oh.
and we'll just a half hour. Get in there, Easus. We'll just coach him up and have him just practicing until he
not the
gets
same
fucking
thing.
good.
So if anybody
that's-
out there
that's-
happens
it's
to
not-
have one of those,
Slightly used.
yeah, well, yeah,
those aren't the
do us
same
a favor,
thing, though.
clean it out first for the most part,
because that's not the gross part to me, though, again. So that's not going to make.
But you could at least work on technique. If you're gonna have
True.
to, if you're
Okay.
gonna have to bite the bullet,
Yeah.
you might as well be good at it.
right.
The greatest basketball players in the world still practice free throws, E.
Practice.
Right.
We're talking about practice. You, sir, are no Allen Iverson. Okay. You need to go to practice. So someone wants to send us one of those ass vagine ones. Who knows? Maybe he walks the down the taint trail.
Oh, yeah.
And makes his way to the back door. All options on the
It's
table.
nice to have
We got
options.
that.
See,
Yeah.
you don't have to go there, but if we're going to go training, we're going to have to go all out.
Yeah.
Explore every avenue.
Sure.
Fucking dude, we'll make a whole regimen out of him. Make him sweat. Be yelling at him the whole time.
Training.
Keep the pressure
His
on.
tongue's going to be all yoked.
His tongue's quite fat in his mouth. All right, let's get out of here, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Thank you, T, for being here again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, Chris Kattan on the show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I gotta go do some prep, man. I haven't done enough prep on the old SNL alum Chris Kattan.
Going to have to dig deep, find some good shit.
And so yeah, we'll look forward to that tomorrow. And you mentioned Chris Newberg. There's some news. He'll probably talk about it tonight. He's going to be coming to town and like moving in for a week. There's a rumor Michelle's coming, and he wants to do a grandiose show where I don't know, where you pay for, the highest bidder fucking can come and watch both shows in studio and blah blah blah. Have a party with us. There's a whole thing. I'm sure he's got it all figured out.
He's probably already spilled it all out, even
Yes.
though that nothing is planned. But
People listening to this right now are probably shutting it off like, duh, heard it, already know, heard
Right.
it from Newberg.
exactly.
So anyway, we'll give you more details as we figure them out as we go here. But that's going to be in February, so like a month away, literally like a month from today. So anyway, have a good rest of the day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with Chris Kattan. And yeah, thanks
Mango.
for listening. Mango.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.